25 minutes.
For those who
February 12th, 1974, 25 minutes.
To those who would bear the hopes and future of our people, let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. Greetings to the people and fellow comrade brothers and sisters. My name is Sin Q, and to my comrades I am known as Sin. I am a black man and a representative of black people. I hold the rank of General Field Marshal in the United Federated Forces of the Symbionese Liberation Army. Today I have received an order from the Symbionese War Council, the Court of the People, to the effect that I am ordered to convey the following message in behalf of the SLA and to insert a tape word of comfort and verification that Patricia Campbell Hearst is alive and safe. The Symbionese Liberation Army is the federated union of military political elements of many different liberation struggles and of many different races. Our unified purpose is to liberate the oppressed peoples of this nation and to aid other oppressed people around the world in their struggle against fascist imperialism and the robbery of their freedom and homeland. Since this is the purpose and goal of the SLA, it is therefore clear to us, as it will be to all oppressed people, that our interest is to serve and defend the people and not ourselves, since the people shall always come first in our hearts and souls. The SLA has arrested the subject for the crimes that her mother and father have by their actions committed against we the American people and the oppressed people of the world. In understanding this charge, we must first understand who the Hearsts are and who they serve and represent. Randolph A. Hearst is the corporate chairman of the fascist media empire of the ultra-right Hearst Corporation, which is one of the largest propaganda institutions of this present military dictatorship of the militarily armed corporate state that we now live under in this nation. The primary goal of this empire is to serve and form the necessary propaganda and smokescreen to shield the American people from seeing the realities of the corporate dictatorship which Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford represent. This network of propaganda and confusion has succeeded in hiding the truth from the people. That truth being that this nation has suffered its first military corporate coup, and that the Constitution, which some of us still believe in, has been overthrown. The fascist Hearst Corporation is composed of, firstly, a national newspaper syndicate, which includes the San Francisco Examiner and Chronicle, and others which jump from California and to as far away as New York and Philadelphia. Secondly, a magazine monopoly composed of over 13 publications, which include, for example, House Beautiful, Harper's Bazaar, Town and Country, and Cosmopolitan. Thirdly, a TV and radio station empire across the nation with production of propaganda films for both national and international use. Fourth, ownership of vast areas of real estate in the United States and Mexico, forests, grassland, and cattle farms. All of this is directly connected to Washington and the corporate dictatorship of Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. That is to say that the Hearst Empire is one of the empires of the ruling class and whose interests serves the rich and are in direct contradiction with the interests of the people. Therefore, they are enemies of the people. This is Randolph A. Hearst. member of the University of California Board of Regents, and is responsible, along with others appointed by Governor Ronald Reagan, for the loaning of funds and the investments of our California tax monies in corporations which have interest and do gain profit from the robbery, oppression, and genocide carried out by fascist and racist governments around the world and within the United States itself. The Regents, with the support of Mrs. Hearst, have time and time again been requested by we the people to not invest our money in such fascist corporations as General Motors, Westinghouse, Gulf, Standard Oil, Bank of America, and others who have and do serve and gain profit from the oppression, robbery, and murder that is committed against black people of South Africa, where 70,000 black children a year die from malnutrition, against white people of Ireland, where U.S.-trained British soldiers shoot down in the street Irish fathers and mothers as U.S.-manufactured tear gas suffocates Irish children as their older sisters and brothers rot in British concentration camps. Against the freedom of the Philippine people, where United States and Marcos puppet soldiers use U.S.-manufactured napalm to attempt to burn away the spirit of freedom from the hearts and souls of the poor and starving. The UC Board of Regents, one of California's largest foreign investors, supports through its investments the murder of thousands of black men, women, and children of Mozambique, Angola, and Rhodesia. Murder is designed to destroy the spirit that all humanity longs for. With all these crimes placed before the Board of Regents and Mrs. Hearst, with all the pleas from the people to stop supporting these corporations and the murder of thousands of men, women, and children, the Board and Mrs. Hearst did not raise one voice in protest or refuse to be a party to these crimes committed against these people and those committed against the American people. Through these acts and others, the court of the people hold the Hearst family accountable for their crimes and hold that they are enemies of the people. We of the Symbionese Liberation Army hold that the Hearst Corporation and the Hearst family and the Board of Regents, as well as the corporate states which they support and aid, are enemies of the people. And as such, that the people have the legal and human right and duty to attack said enemy according to the forms of war taken by the oppressed people against any enemy or murderer and oppressor to regain their freedom and liberty, and we give life to their children and people. It is therefore the directive of this court that before any form of negotiation for the release of the subject prisoner be initiated, that an action of good faith be shown on the part of the Hearst family to allow the court and the oppressed people of this world and this nation to ascertain as to the real interest and cooperative attitude of the Hearst family, and in so doing show some form of repentance for the murder and suffering they have aided and profited from. And this good faith gesture is to be in the form of a token gesture to the oppressed people that they aid the corporate state in robbing and removing their rights to freedom and liberty. This gesture is to be in the form of food to the needy and the unemployed, and to which the following instructions are directed to be followed to the letter. In closing, and speaking personally for myself, and as a father of 2 children, I wish to say to Mr. Hearst and Mrs. Hearst that I, as well as the forces under my command through the authority of the court of the people, are not savage killers and madmen, and we do hold a high moral value to life. We value life very deeply, and with all the spirit that we as human beings can bring forth in our hearts. But speaking as a father, I am quite willing to lose both my children if By that action, I could save thousands of white, black, yellow, and red children from a life of suffering, exploitation, and murder. And I am therefore quite willing to carry out the execution of your daughter to save the life of starving men, women, and children of every race. And I am also, along with the loyal men and women of many races who love the people, quite willing to give our lives to freeing the people at any cost. And if, as you and others so naively believe, that we will lose, let it be known that even in death we will win. For the very ashes of this fascist nation will mark our very graves.
Mom, Dad, I'm okay. I had a few scrapes and stuff, but they washed them up and they're getting okay. And I've caught a cold, but they're giving me pills for it, and so I'm not being starved or beaten or unnecessarily frightened. I've heard some press reports, and so I know that Steve and all the neighbors are okay, and that no one was really hurt. And I also know that the SLA members here are very upset about press distortions of what's been happening. They have nothing to do with the August 7th movement, that they have not been shooting down helicopters or shooting down innocent people in the streets. I'm kept blindfolded usually so that I can't identify anyone. My hands are often tied, but they're not. And I'm not gagged or anything, and I'm comfortable. And I think you can tell that I'm not really terrified or anything. I'm okay. I was very upset, though, to hear about the police rushing in on that house in Oakland, and I was just really glad that I wasn't there. And I would appreciate it if everyone would just calm down and not try to find me and not be making identifications, because they're not only endangering me, but they're endangering themselves. I'm with a combat unit that's armed with automatic weapons, and there's also a medical team here, and there's no way that I will be released until they let me go. So it wouldn't do any good for somebody to come in here and try to get me out by force. These people are just a bunch of nuts, and they've been really honest with me, but they're perfectly willing to die for what they're doing. And I want to get out of here, but the only way I'm going to is if we do it their way. And I just hope that you'll do what they say, Dad, and just do it quickly. I've been stopping and starting this tape myself so that I can collect my thoughts. That's why there's so many stops in it. I'm not being forced to say any of this. I think it's really important that you take their request very seriously about not arresting any other SLA members and about following their good faith request to the letter. I just want to get out of here, and be back with Steve. The SLA is very interested in seeing how you're taking this, Dad, and they want to make sure that you are really serious and listening to what they're saying. And they think that you've been taking this whole thing a lot more seriously than the police and the FBI and other federal people have been taking it. And it seems to be getting to the point where they're not worried about you so much as they're worrying about other people, or at least I am. It's really up to you to make sure that these people don't jeopardize my life by charging in and doing stupid things. And I hope that you'll make sure that they don't do anything else like that Oakland house business. The SLA people really have been honest with me, and I feel pretty sure that I'm going to get out of here if everything goes the way they want it to. And I think you should feel that way too. And try not to worry so much. I mean, I know it's hard, but I heard that Mom was really upset and that everybody was at home, and I mean, I hope that this puts you a little bit at ease, so that you know that I really am all right. I just hope I can get back to everybody really soon. The SLA has ideological ties with the IRA, the people's struggle in the Philippines, and the socialist people in Puerto Rico and their struggle for independence. And they consider themselves to be soldiers who are fighting and aiding these people. I am a prisoner of war, and so are the two men in San Quentin. I'm being treated in accordance with the Geneva Convention, and one of the conditions being that I'm not being tried for crimes which I'm not responsible for. I'm here because I'm a member of a ruling class family, and I think you can begin to see the analogy. People in the two men in San Quentin are being held and are going to be tried simply because they are members of the SLA and not because they've done anything. Witnesses to the shooting of Foster saw a black man, and two white men have been arrested for this. You're being told this so that you'll understand why I was kidnapped. And so that you'll understand that whatever happens to the two prisoners is going to happen to me. it's important that you understand that they know what they're doing and that they understand what their actions mean. And that you realize that this is not considered by them to be just a simple kidnapping, and that you don't treat it that way and say, oh, I don't know why she was taken. I mean, I'm telling you now why this happened so that you'll know and so that you'll have something to use, some knowledge to try to get me out of here. If you can get the food thing organized before the 19th, then that's okay, and it will just speed up my release. Today's Friday the 8th, and in Kuwait, the commandos negotiated a release of their hostages and they left the country. But
Mr. Hurst, as your daughter said, she's being held under international codes of war regarding prisoners of war, and that is she is not going to be harmed in any manner unless any attempt is made to release her by force. She is being properly treated, properly fed, and she has an exercise area, fresh air and so forth, and she's not being harmed in any fashion. And this is also related to our captured soldiers that are being held at San Quentin, and we hope that they will receive the same treatment according to the international codes of war. We understand from the national reports and so forth that the police authorities and others are attempting to place the responsibility upon us concerning the life of your daughter, and to distort and mislead the realities of the facts of the matter. However, we wish to express to you and to the authorities and to the public that whatever happens to your daughter will be totally your responsibility and the responsibility of the authorities which you represent. Her life will be maintained in the fashion that is accorded to the terms of war, and if they and yourself violate these, her life and the blood of that will be upon your hands only. In regards to communications, for security reasons and because of where we are at, it is not possible for us to maintain a continuous flow of communications with you. So don't expect phone calls or communications 3 or 4 times a week, because they won't come. When the stated good faith gesture is conducted, and we have means to ascertain as to if they are, we will begin negotiations for the release of your daughter. Until then, you can be sure and have our word, whatever that may be to you, that we will carry out our word to the letter, and we mean exactly what we say. Death of the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people.
that I wrote on my head. It's what I feel. I never before say anything on anything, nor have I the brain statements by informing the public. Those who bear the hopes and future of our people, let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. I would like to begin this statement by informing the public that I wrote what I'm about to say. It's what I feel. I've never been forced to say anything on any tape, nor have I been brainwashed, drugged, tortured, hypnotized, or in any way confused. As George Jackson wrote, it's me, the way I want it, the way I see it. Mom, Dad, I would like to comment on your efforts to supposedly secure my safety. The people in need giveaway was a shame. You attempted to deceive the people, the SLA, and me with statements about your concern for myself and the people. You were playing games, stalling for time which the FBI was using in their attempts to assassinate me and the SLA elements which guarded me. You continued to report that you did everything in your power to pave the way for negotiations for my release. I hate to believe that you could have been so unimaginative as to not even have considered getting Little and Romero released on bail. While it was repeatedly stated that my conditions would at all times correspond with those of the captured soldiers, when your own lawyer went to inspect the whole of San Quentin, he approved the deplorable conditions there. Another move which potentially jeopardized my safety. My mother's acceptance of the appointment to a second term as a UC regent, as you well knew, would have caused my immediate execution had the SLA been less than together about their political goals. Your actions have taught me a great lesson, and in a strange kind of way, I'm grateful to you. Stephen, I know that you are beginning to realize that there is no such thing as neutrality in time of war. There can be no compromise, as your experience with the FBI must have shown you. You have been harassed by the FBI because of your supposed connections with so-called radicals, and some people have even gone so far as to suggest that I arranged my own arrest. We both know what really came down that Monday night, but you don't know what's happened since then. I've changed, grown. I've become conscious and can never go back to the life we led before. What I'm saying may seem cold to you and to my old friends, but love doesn't mean the same thing to me anymore. My love has expanded as a result of my experiences to embrace all people. It's grown into an unselfish love for my comrades here, in prison, and on the streets. A love that comes from the knowledge that no one is free until we are all free. While I wish that you could be a comrade, I don't expect it. All I expect is that you try to understand the changes I've gone through. I've been given the choice of 1, being released in a safe area, or 2, joining the forces of the Symbionese Liberation Army and fighting for my freedom and the freedom of all oppressed people. I have chosen to stay and fight. One thing which I have learned is that the corporate ruling class will do anything in their power in order to maintain their position of control over the masses, even if this means the sacrifice of one of their own. It should be obvious that people who don't even care about their own children couldn't possibly care about anyone else's children. The things which are precious to these people are their money and power, and they will never willingly surrender either. People should not have to humiliate themselves by standing in lines in order to be fed, nor should they have to live in fear for their lives and the lives of their children, as Tyrone Guyton's mother will sadly attest to. Dad, you said that you were concerned with my life, and you also said that you were concerned with the life and interests of all oppressed people in this country, but you are a liar in both areas, and as a member of the ruling class, I know for sure that yours and Mom's interests are never the interests of the people. Dad, you said that you would see about getting more job opportunities for the people, but why haven't you warned the people what's going to happen to them? That actually the few jobs they still have will be taken away. You, a corporate liar, of course will say that you don't know what I'm talking about. But I ask you then to prove it. Tell the poor and oppressed people of this nation what the corporate state is about to do. Warn black and poor people that they are about to be murdered down to the last man, woman, and child. If you're so interested in the people, why don't you tell them what the energy crisis really is? Tell them how it's nothing more than a manufactured strategy, a way of hiding industry's real intentions. Tell the people that the energy crisis is nothing more than a means to get public approval for a massive program to build nuclear power plants all over the nation. Tell the people that the entire corporate state is, with the aid of this massive power supply, about to totally automate the entire industrial state to the point that in the next 5 years, all that will be needed will be a small class of button pushers. Tell the people, Dad, that all of the lower class and at least half of the middle class will be unemployed in the next 3 years, and that the removal of expendable excess, the removal of unneeded people has already started. I want you to tell the people the truth. Tell them how the law and order programs are just a means to remove so-called violent, meaning aware individuals from the community in order to facilitate the controlled removal of unneeded labor forces from this country in the same way that Hitler controlled the removal of the Jews from Germany. I should have known that if you and the rest of the corporate state were willing to do this to millions of people to maintain power and to serve your needs, you would also kill me if necessary to serve those same needs. How long will it take before white people in this country understand that whatever happens to a black child happens sooner or later to a white child? How long will it be before we all understand that we must fight for our freedom? I have been given the name Tanya after a comrade who fought alongside Che in Bolivia for the people of Bolivia. I embrace the name with the determination to continue fighting with her spirit. There is no victory in half-assed attempts at revolution. I know Tanya dedicated her life to the people, fighting with total dedication and an intense desire to learn, which I will continue in the oppressed American people's revolution. All colors of string in the web of humanity yearn for freedom. Osceola and Burrow, even though we have never met, I feel like I know you. Timon brought me to you, and I'm fighting with your freedom and the freedom of all prisoners in mind. In the strenuous jogs that life takes, you are pillars of strength to me. If I'm feeling down, I think of you, of where you are and why you are there, and my determination grows stronger. It's good to see that your spirits are so high in spite of the terrible conditions. Even though you aren't here, you're with other strong comrades, and the three of us are learning together. I in an environment of love, and you in one of hate, in the belly of the fascist beast. We have grown closer to the people and become stronger through our experiences. I've learned how vicious the pig really is, and our comrades are teaching me to attack with even greater viciousness in the knowledge that the people will win. I sent greetings to Death Row Jeff, Al Taylor, and Raymond Scott. Your concern for my safety is matched by my concern for yours. We share a common goal as revolutionaries, knowing that Comrade George lives. It is in the spirit of Tanya that I say, Patria o muerte, venceremos.
Greetings to the people. My name is Tico. I am a white revolutionary and a soldier in the Symbionese Liberation Army. I have a message for all my white brothers who have not yet come forward to fight for the freedom of all oppressed people. Contrary to what many of us may think, the special privileges white men as a group have gained for themselves through the oppression of all other people has never secured for us the freedom we desire. White men must understand that they will live under the threat of death as long as they continue to oppress members of any class or group who have the strength and determination to fight back. White men themselves have only one avenue to freedom, and that is to join in fighting to the death those who are and those who aspire to be the slave masters of the world. Many Many of us have been bold enough to intellectualize about revolution, but far too chicken shit to get down and help make it. Most of us have been nearly fatally stricken with the vile sickness of racism. Again, most of us have been immobilized by our sexist egos and have watched and done nothing as our sisters have rushed by us into battle. We have fooled ourselves into believing that Madison Avenue piggery will bring us eternal bourgeois happiness. If we haven't bought into the racist, sexist, capitalist, imperialist program we have greened out in Mendocino and New Hampshire. To black people who lead our struggle to freedom, we have proved to be the racist punks of the world when we kick back and live off the blood and lives of the people. However, many of us have seen through this sham and are fighting beside comrades from all races and classes, women and men, old and young. We know we have a long way to go to purify our minds of the many bourgeois poisons, but we also know that this isn't done through bullshitting and ego-tripping. It is done by fighting. And as the comrade has taught us, by stalking the pig, seizing him by his tusks, and riding his pig ass into his grave. It is done by unleashing the most devastating revolutionary violence ever imagined, by proving that all races and groups of people can unite and fight together for the true freedom of us all. When we call on the people to join us in the fight for freedom, many of you wonder how you can join the Symbionese Liberation Army, feeling that joining materially with those who are already fighting will provide the security you need to justify risking your lives. But we soldiers in the SLA say to this mistaken reasoning that you must read again our Declaration of Revolutionary War in terms of military-political alliance. The SLA came into being because many people refused to wait for so-called revolutionary groups and organizations to lead them into a revolution which would therefore never come. We grew tired of waiting for mythological North American revolutionaries with the necessary expertise and skills we lack to teach us. We have learned from many brave revolutionary women and men, but in reality, we are fighting today because we ourselves have seized the moment, taught ourselves, developed incredible strength, determination, and committed ourselves to never compromise with the enemy. As anyone with the most primitive of revolutionary mentalities knows, the people will not be given their freedom. They will have to seize it. Wait for no one, my brothers. Death to the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people.
Up until now, the fascist media has printed our documents in full because of their invested interests in Patricia Hearst. From now on, however, since this pressure point no longer exists, the fascist corporate military state, via the media, will lie about and distort any information concerning the SLA. They will do this, 1, in retaliation for being put in a position that required them to print everything, 2, to try to isolate us from the people, and 3, to discourage the people from joining the forces. Therefore, the people must watch and listen with keen perception. We will speak to you through action. Analyze these actions carefully, making sure to recognize when the enemy is in the disguise of revolutionaries. They will do anything to stop the rising of the people, including killing their own kind and blaming the people's forces under the pretense of a race war. Remember that the SLA was born from the spirit of the people. The SLA is the people's army, and we fight in their interests. The SLA will never compromise. The SLA will not allow the enemy jive to deceive us into passively accepting genocide. Listen and watch, and let that spirit become your name. Love to our sisters and brothers in prisons. Courage and faith to our 2 captured soldiers. Greetings to all oppressed peoples. May we connect. My name is Faiza. The SLA is taking these opportunities to speak with the people now because we have been having a temporary period of inactivity while waiting for the completion of our unit's last action. We know that the people want far more than $6 million of food, and we will continue to fight for the total liberation of all oppressed peoples by the only means available, that is, force of arms. The Court of the People has issued the Codes of War of the Sudanese Liberation Army, and I wish to state that Sinkiu Mtume is the General Field Marshal of the Symbionese guerrilla forces, as well as Chairman of the United Symbionese War Council. Sinkiu is a black brother who spent many years of his life in fascist America's concentration camps. Man-child years in prison cells and man years in prison cells. Sinkiu met literally thousands of black, brown, red, yellow, and white freedom fighters while he was locked down. Courageous comrade George Jackson was one among them. The spirit of all the brothers Sinkiu knows lives in him now, and the spirit of all the sisters that Sinkiu never had the opportunity to meet, but knows by common bond, like Assata Shakur, Lolita Lebron, and Bernadine Dawn, is always in his heart. When Sinkiu escaped alone on foot from Soledad prison, he did so for one reason only, to fight with the people and to lead the people in revolution. He did not escape so that he could kick back and hide and get high. He did not even escape so that he could satisfy a deep and longing personal ache to simply see the people and be on the streets and reunite with his family and be a father once again to his children. Sinkiu escaped so that he could actively stalk the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people. The lives both he and the people's fighting forces lead now may be hard and dangerous, but it is better to work with hard reality than to play in pleasant but unproductive, enslaving dreams. Sinkiu Mtume is the name that was bestowed upon him by his imprisoned sisters and brothers. It is the name of an ancient African chief who led the fight of his people for freedom. The name means fifth prophet, and sin was many years ago given his name because of his keen instinct and senses, his spiritual consciousness, and his deep love for all the people and children of this earth. This does not, however, mean that Sinkiu is from God, or someone that is holy, or that has been as an extreme but simply that he to us and to all oppressed peoples is to instill hope in the spirit of his people and all peoples, and that he is of the people and from the people. Raja is a leader and a fighter who is one of the people. Leaders are individuals who within themselves feel that it is time to lead and bring us one step closer to freedom for all peoples. A leader is one who is able to sense and to see what is coming ahead. A leader is one who is able to help the people understand the swiftness and fierceness with which they must move if they will survive. Part of the revolutionary process in which we are engaged involves the constant redefining of thought, word, and action. We must deal with all the conditions outside ourselves which oppress and enslave us, and we must deal with the enemy within. We must deal with both these diseases simultaneously and with an unrelenting commitment and understanding that in reality we are not living to die, but rather all who choose to fight to the death are dying to live. Sin's example to the people has taught us through his actions and by his own words that he or she who is scared and seeks to run from death will find it. But she or he who is not afraid and who actively seeks death out will find it not at their door. We embrace the concepts of art and spiritual consciousness in material relevant terms based upon the common conditions of all oppressed peoples. We have begun to redefine art as the natural, creative reflection of our desperate struggle to survive. Art for us is the total process of sharing and communally using what we learn in order to live and to fight. We recognize sin as an artist for what he teaches the people, but we also realize, as he himself has said, that truth has no author. Another thing which we feel is necessary to clarify is the word spirit and all that which is called spiritual. The spirit is the bodies and souls of all the people, and the spiritual is the intensity of our common instincts as reflected throughout history to fight for the freedom of all oppressed peoples, to save the earth and the children from the putrid disease of bourgeois mentality and the putrid disease of the corporate fascist military state. In a profound and spiritual sense, as our sisters and brothers in the BLA have said, resistance to this disease is the single greatest human endeavor today. Comrades in struggle, there is a high price that we have paid and will pay for our mistakes. And there is an even higher price which we have been paying for the loss of our leaders. We are speaking to the people now because we all know that we cannot afford the loss of another leader. And we want the people to know that in spite of the enemy's technology and prestige of terror, we do have a leader that loves the people and lives and fights for the people. This example helps to make a love among comrades that gives attention, appreciation, care, and protection from each brother and sister to the other. The oppressed peoples of this nation have and will continue to bring forth their leaders, prophets, and fighters until they are free. The people brought forth Malcolm X, who came to unite the people and warn the enemy of what would inevitably happen if the people were not freed. The enemy answered by murdering Malcolm. The people then did again bring forth another prophet. That prophet was Martin Luther King, who with nonviolence and humanity pleaded to the enemy to free the people. And just when King was ready to declare that nonviolent protest would accomplish nothing but the further enslavement and degradation of the people, the enemy murdered King. George Jackson was a prophet and leader from the streets, and when the enemy imprisoned him, George received his education in the raw. He learned firsthand that there can be no compromise with merciless pigs. George Jackson came from the prisons of America, and love-inspired, he boldly fought the oppressor. When the fascist insect locked him down and murdered him, the people knew that they had suffered a great loss, but they failed to unite in immediate retaliation. Now, once again, the people have brought forth another prophet and leader. This leader comes not to beg and plead with the enemy. He comes not to warn of violence, but is himself the bringer of the children of the wind and the sound of war. He has one word to the children of the oppressed and the children of the oppressor. Come. We have joined together with love and unity and the understanding that those who would be free must themselves strike the first blow.
This is Field Marshal Sin. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Federation to thank WAPAC and all the other coalition members for their aid in feeding and educating their people. We send you our faith and unity to always serve the people. I wish to say to those who would speak about what they want, to you, I say that your words and cries will bring you nothing but a wet face and an empty heart. The enemy is unhearing, and he is unmerciful to the oppressed. If you would have freedom for your children and the people, then you, as all oppressed people, will have to fight and struggle for it. Freedom freedom is not tax deductible, nor is it willed to you. No piece of paper can sign it over to you or your children. It is something that in an oppressive world can only be gained and protected by the force of your arms and your spirit to defend that freedom at any cost. To the people and combat forces of the people, business of the revolution. The following are enemies of the people. They are agents of the enemy and have been found guilty of working and informing to the enemy against the people, and therefore death warrants have been issued by this court against them, and they should be shot on sight with any of the people's forces when found. Robin Steiner.
of our people. Let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. Greetings to the people, the Black Liberation Army, United People's Liberation Army, the Black Guerrilla Family, the Weather Underground, and all freedom fighters of the United Symbionese Federation and the New World Liberation Front. This is Tico speaking. Yolanda, Tanya, and I extend profound feelings of revolutionary love and solidarity to General Field Marshal Cabrilla and all the soldiers of the United People's Liberation Army, to B-Team commanders and all elements of the anti-aircraft forces of the SLA, to Combat Unit Number 4 of the Black Liberation Army, to Comrade Martin Sostra and all other comrade brothers and sisters in America's concentration camps, to our beloved comrades in arms and prisoners of war, Osceola and Bowe, we echo the words you have often left us with. A luta continua, venceremos. We have come together in many different cells, squads, and military political units. We have taken many different meaningful names, but we are not hung up on names, for as comrades in arms, we are one in our struggle for freedom. The determination to eliminate our common enemy by force of arms has united us. To our comrades, sisters, and brothers of the Black Liberation Army and all other fighters, let it be known that the Malcolm X Combat Unit of the Symbionese Liberation Army proudly takes up the banner of the New World Liberation Front. The Malcolm X Combat Unit of the Symbionese Liberation Army left the San Francisco Bay Area in a successful effort to break a massive pig encirclement. It had become clear through intelligence reports from other SLA elements and from the people in the community that the pigs were preparing to trap us on the San Francisco Peninsula. We knew that there was a great risk in setting up a base of operations in San Francisco, which is a natural defile, a trap. The area is very small, surrounded by water, and with limited choices for breaking a major encirclement. However, we accepted this potentially dangerous condition because we saw the importance of making solid contacts in the oppressed communities of the city. We considered ourselves to be an underground unit. However, the majority of our unit's members moved about freely, and in the 5 months we were there, we made many good contacts. We decided to move our base of operations to Southern California, concentrating on the greater Los Angeles area and with its vast oppressed communities and more favorable terrain. In April, the War Council dispatched an intelligence and reconnaissance team to Los Angeles. Its mission, to make some additional contacts and survey the area. Based on the favorable results of this mission and the concentration of pig activity in the San Francisco Bay Area, our unit slipped out of San Francisco and into Los Angeles on May Day, 1974. On Thursday, May 16, 1974, 3 members of the Malcolm X Combat Unit of the SLA were sent out to buy a number of items needed by the unit. At Mel's Sporting Goods store in Inglewood, a pig agent clerk named Tony Shepard, attempting to show his allegiance to his reactionary white bosses, falsely accused me of shoplifting. It was impossible to allow a verifying search by a store security guard because I was armed, and therefore we were forced to fight our way out of the situation. The pigs originally said that a 49-cent pair of socks was stolen, and that this was what caused the shootout at the store. The people found this very difficult to believe when it was pointed out that we had already purchased over $30 worth of heavy-duty wool socks and other items. This apparently became equally confusing to the pigs, who later charged that an ammunition bandolier was the item taken. supposedly to make the accusation more believable. The policy of the Symbionese Liberation Army has always been to avoid shoplifting because of the heavy risk involved to the whole unit. We cannot afford to have soldiers busted on humbug charges. However, we realize that the combat and support elements run a great risk of being jammed whenever we move about above ground. The most unfortunate aspect of this situation was that the pigs then learned that SLA elements were in the Los Angeles area. It appears that even with this knowledge, the pigs would not have located our comrades if a collaborator named Mary Carr had not snitched to the enemy. On Friday, May 17, 1974, a CIA directed force of FBI agents, Los Angeles City, County, and California State pigs, with air support and reserve assistance from the United States Marine Corps and the National Guard, encircled elements of the Malcolm X combat unit of the Symbionese Liberation Army. The result of the encirclement was that the people witnessed on live television the burning to death of 6 of their most beautiful and courageous freedom fighters by cowardly fascist insects. In most cases, when an urban guerrilla unit is encircled by the enemy, it can expect to take great losses, especially if the enemy has time to mobilize a massive force.
Our 6 comrades were not on a suicide mission, as the pigs would have us believe. They were attempting to break a battalion-sized encirclement. By looking at the diagram of where their bodies were found, it is clear that they had split into 2 teams, moved to opposite sides of the rear of the house, and were preparing to move out of the house by force. The heavy automatic weapons fire from the front of the house was a diversionary tactic to force the pigs to concentrate some of their forces in the front. The 2 dynamite-loaded pipe bombs were to be used as fragmentation grenades to clear a path through the cringing pigs who had started the blaze by firing incendiary grenades into the house. Sin, Faiza, Zoya, Cujo, Yelena, Gabi died of smoke inhalation and burns before they could get outside. The pigs want us to believe that the fire was started by the SLA, that it was caused by SLA Molotov cocktails, or by accident from pig tear gas grenades. This is pig shit. The SWAT squad, FBI, and LAPD would have had to go into the house themselves to clear it out. They showed their true cowardice by using incendiary grenades to cause the fire that killed our comrades. For those who don't know, incendiary grenades burn at such an incredible temperature that they melt steel and armor plate in a matter of seconds and are impossible to extinguish. The pigs want the people to believe that the badass tactics of the SLA guerrillas drove the fascists to use such barbaric force. But we say the SLA is a reaction to fascism. The SLA uses automatic weapons and homemade bombs because the pigs have automatic weapons, artillery, and hydrogen bombs. Pigs want the people to believe that General Field Marshal Sin Q-M-Tume committed suicide. To this absurdity, the SLA respond by quoting our beloved comrade brother. He often said, "We must not fear death, for to fear death is to put our fear of pig terror before our love of the children and the people's struggle for freedom." The pigs have historically focused on eliminating black leaders. Many have been murdered or imprisoned in America's concentration camps.
For over a year, the pigs couldn't find Sin to murder him, so they attempted to isolate him from the people with pig propaganda. First, they worked on the most blatantly racist whites with their traditional crazy black nigger escape convict rapist routine. Next, we learned that Sin was a plum wine alcoholic. This obviously was the white racist liberal answer to the logic that a black revolutionary leader could order and assist in the assassination of a jive-ass pig-aging school superintendent. It follows that the white supremacist and bourgeois black elements of the revolutionary left so-called leadership would be pimped with ridiculous tales of links between the SLA and the CIA. That Sin was and had been a paid informant for the Los Angeles Police Department and the California Attorney General's office. If this were true, we dare these fools and collaborators to explain Sin's reward for his deed, a life term in California's concentration camp. White, sickeningly liberal, paranoid conspiracy freaks and spaced-out counterculture dope fiends proved their naivete and amateurish research skills as they rambled on and on and on about the California Department of Corrections. Bizarre stories about Sin having been programmed and electrodes implanted in his brain while at Vacaville began to appear in the so-called underground press. Sin Q-M2 Man. The name means fifth prophet. Sin was indeed a prophet. The pigs would have the people believe that Sin was just, as they would say, another dumb nigger. They continually attempted to undermine his leadership by propagandizing that Sin was being funded off by whites, that he wasn't smart enough to be the brains behind the planning and execution of the successful SLA action. To this display of racism, we say, go on into the black community and ask the people if Sin Q-M2 was not a prophet. Ask the people if they think he was being used by whites. The people know that a black man in America does not need conscious whites to push him into leading a revolution. Racists cannot believe that middle and upper middle class whites, a daughter of a super fascist ruling class family, would ever have reason to follow the lead of beautiful black teen revolutionary warriors and give their lives for the people. Sick-ass racists would have us believe that white women who follow the lead of black revolutionaries are only mindless cunts enslaved by gigantic black pigs. The cringing pigs who face the firepower of Selena, Gabi, Faiza, Zoe, much better. Racists believe that it is impossible for white men to denounce white racism and follow the revolutionary leadership of black men. But the SLA proved this theory to be a sick delusion. Sin Q-M2 was himself the spirit of Frederick Douglass, Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Marcus Garvey, the Scottsboro Boys, Medgar Evers, William E. Burghardt Du Bois, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Emmett Till, Little Bobby Hutton, Fred Hampton, L.D. Barkley, Jonathan and George L. Jackson, Mark Essex, and every other black freedom fighter who came before him. To racist slander, the SLA and all the people say, death to the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people.
Greetings of profound love to the people, to all comrades in arms, to all comrades in the concentration camps of fascist America, and to all the children. This is Yolanda speaking. When we say revolution, we do not use the word loosely. By revolution, we mean the violent fight for freedom. Freedom that can be gained in no other way than by fighting. People do not fight because they enjoy it, or because they relish the thought of their own death, or the deaths of their beloved comrades. They fight to survive because they understand the violence of fascism. And that violence means genocidal death at the hands of dictators who mass 500 pigs armed with military weapons, fragmentary grenades, and incendiary grenades to burn 6 people to death. Dictators who imprison over 22,000 brothers and sisters in the state of California alone. Dictators who take jobs away from those who are begging to work. Dictators who take food from the mouths of those who are starving. Dictators who take joy from the hearts of those who love the people. The military-industrial state of the ruling class can only survive through repression. These fascist dogs must destroy truth in the minds of the people to keep them pacified. They must make people afraid so they will do nothing. They must make people feel isolated from each other and powerless. Fascism tries to do all these things through the brutal violence of a military police force, the lurking Big Brother presence of the FBI, CIA, and their computer files, through media propaganda. Fascism tries to tell us we are fools to resist, because we will in the end be destroyed. If we were only 6 people, they would be correct, for they can destroy the lives of 6, or 9, or even 100 people. But the truth the pigs try so desperately hard to repress is one that people are coming to understand only too well. People are ridding themselves of the bourgeois desire to lead a long life, and instead wish to fight for a better, more human life. Yes, repression breeds resistance. It is proven to be true as each day goes by, as dark eyes grow darker with hate, and strong muscles grow stronger with rage, and cold steel grows colder in the firm grip of a hand that loves the people. We must face the inevitable truth that repression will grow more intense as the power-hungry pigs see their grip slipping. Whites in this country have historically had a tendency to back off when repression intensified, feeling they could escape the vicious tentacles. For this reason, black, brown, Asian, and Indian brothers and sisters have not trusted whites, feeling that they would desert the fight as it was just beginning in order to save their own skins. These brothers and sisters were often proven correct. That is why we say, anyone who loves freedom must prove this love through action, not words, and only after they have fought can they speak. So we are freedom fighters. We may be murdered, but whether we live or die, the day is close at hand when the people will join together in an army because they wish to survive on their own terms. And the people will change the course of history through their courage and determination. To all those whose fear is stronger than their hatred of the pig, I must say that the freedom fighters do not bring repression to your door. The fascist pig is responsible for this, and soon even those of you with white skin will lose your privileges. The pig will no longer knock and be very polite. He will shoot to kill. He will burn and rape. He will imprison and starve. He does this already in the ghettos of this country and will expand his efforts to stay in his greed-filled position of power. And if people wish to survive, they will have to defend themselves with as much rage as a pig would use against them. Only in this way can the people of this country avoid the mass genocide that occurred to Jews in Germany and leftists in Chile. All these things have been said before, but I will continue to say them until the reality is so clear we no longer need to repeat the words. That will be the day when our mind accepts what we see with our eyes. To those who have attempted to express their love for us by calling for our surrender, we say, we must express our feelings of love only by continuing the fight. We renounce our class and race privilege and say that we love no individual more than we love freedom. The fight has cost us at the SLA 8 comrades, 6 dead and 2 in concentration camps, as well as the death and imprisonment of our comrades in arms of the VLA, the BGF, and the Weather Underground. We clearly understand that the reality of revolution will include death and imprisonment, suffering and violence, as well as victory. The price is high, but we accepted this reality when we picked up the gun for the first time and nodded yes to freedom, to love, to living. Because we must endure the suffering does not mean we have any doubt in the beauty of the victory. Our comrades died the way they chose to live, fighting courageously. They did not compromise to the hundreds of insects crawling the community, who resorted to burning them to death rather than facing in battle the ruthless strength and courage of freedom fighters. 54th Street is not an end, but a beginning. People are gathering on the street. They are feeling the strength of their own bodies. They are clearing fear and blind ignorance from their eyes. Sincu, Faiza, Zoya, Kujo, Delina, and Gabi conquered the fear and will never die in the minds of those who see the monster and know he will be destroyed. All comrades, dead and alive, in prison and out, underground and on the streets, are calling on all the people to conquer the fear and join the battle, realizing what can happen when 500 pigs surround a house and then are surrounded by 50 or 100 or 500 irate niggers firing from their houses, alleyways, treetops, and walls with a straight and fearless shot to bring down the helicopter, the SWAT squad, the LAPD, the FBI, the neighborhood snitch. Consider the day when the pig won't even enter the communities of the armed people. We got to make the pig fear for his life because he knows every eye behind every curtain in the ghettos, barrios, and poor communities is sighting down the barrel of a piece, ready to pull the trigger at any moment. There's been a lot of talk about wasted lives, referring to the 6 dead bodies of our comrades and to Tanya T. myself. The ironies of racist, fascist America are once again reflected with sickening reminder. There are no editorials written for the wasted lives of the brothers and sisters daily gunned down in the streets and prisons. The present uproar of white America over the fate of Patty Hearst was barely a murmur as hundreds of young men, mostly black and brown, went off to die in Vietnam. We of the SLA hate the historical reality that requires young people to struggle to survive and to die violent deaths. We hate the reality in this country that murdered our 6 comrades, sisters, and brothers, and daily continues to murder throughout the world. Because we hate this reality, we must fight to destroy it by any means necessary. Yes, history might be different if they had lived. But revolution is not made by saying if only. We do know that the lives of revolutionaries will never be wasted. Right now there are men and women, young and old, black, brown, Asian, Indian, and white, who are filled with the fighting spirit of King, of Malcolm, of George, of Sun Tzu, of their mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers who have died at the hands of the pig. And these are a new breed of the baddest motherfuckers alive. Yes, we hate the pig, and we are at war with the pig. And we will kill the pig as violently as he has killed comrades of ours for centuries. We will do this because we love the people we are lucky enough to know. And we love the people we will never know. The beautiful babies, the angry young men and women, the understanding mothers and fathers who have seen the rising tide for as long as they have been alive. Our past as middle-class white Americans was meaningless. It was truly wasted potential, full of desperate pessimism that could feel the emptiness of capitalist America even before we could understand it. Our lives now are not easy or full of joy. We may die, but our lives are real because we see the truth and the future. Right now the people are igniting the sparks of a great prairie fire, and the firefighters will soon be helpless against the freedom fighters because the flames will be far too hot and deadly for their weak will to endure, and their evil spirit will die with them in the ashes. Once again, my love to all the comrades. Greetings to the people. This is Tanya. I want to talk about the way I knew our 6 murdered comrades, because the fascist pig media has, of course, been painting a typically distorted picture of these beautiful sisters and brothers. Cujo was the gentlest, most beautiful man I've ever known. He taught me the truth as he learned it from the beautiful brothers in California's concentration camps. We loved each other so much, and his love for the people was so deep that he was willing to give his life for them. The name Cujo means unconquerable. It was the perfect name for him. Cujo conquered life as well as death by facing them and fighting. Neither Cujo or I had ever loved an individual the way we loved each other, probably because our relationship wasn't based on bourgeois fucked up values, attitudes, and goals. Our relationship's foundation was our commitment to the struggle and our love for the people. It's because of this that I still feel strong and determined to fight. I was ripped off by the pigs when they murdered Cujo. Ripped off the same way that thousands of sisters and brothers in this fascist country have been ripped off of people they love. We mourn together, and the sound of gunfire becomes sweeter. Jelena was beautiful, fire and joy. She exploded with a desire to kill the pigs. She wrote poetry, some of it on the walls at Golden Gate, all of it in the LA Pig files now, that expresses how she felt. She loved the people more than her love for any one person or material comfort, and she never let her mind rest from the strategies that are the blood of revolution. Jelena would have yelled firepower to the people if there wasn't the necessity to whisper the words of revolution. We laughed and cried and struggled together. She taught me how to fight the enemy within through her constant struggle with bourgeois conditioning. Gabi crouched low with her ass to the ground. She practiced until her shotgun was an extension of her right and left arm, an impulse, a tool of survival. She understood the evil in the heart of the pig and took the only road that could demoralize, defeat, and destroy him. She loved to touch people with a strong, not delicate embrace. Gabi taught me the patience and discipline necessary for survival and victory. Zoya wanted to give meaning to her name, and on her birthday she did. Zoya, female gorilla, perfect love and perfect hate reflected in stone-cold eyes. She moved viciously and with caution, understanding the peril of the smallest mistake. She taught me, keep your ass down and be bad. Faiza was a beautiful sister who didn't talk much, but who was the teacher of many by her righteous example. She, more than any other, had come to understand and conquer the putrid disease of bourgeois mentality. She proved often that she was unwilling to compromise with the enemy because of her intense love for freedom. Faiza taught me the perils of hesitation, to shoot first and make sure the pig is dead before splitting. She was wise and bad, and I'll always love her. Sin Q loved the people with tenderness and respect. They listened to him when he talked because they knew that his love reflected the truth and the future. Sin knew that to live was to shoot straight. He longed to be with his black sisters and brothers, but at the same time he wanted to prove to black people that white freedom fighters are comrades in arms. Sin Q was in a race with time, believing that every minute must be another step forward in the fight to save the children. He taught me virtually everything imaginable, but wasn't liberal with us. He'd kick our asses if we didn't hop over a fence fast enough, or keep our asses down while practicing. Most importantly, he taught me how to show my love for the people. He helped me see that it's not how long we live that's important, it's how we live, what we decide to do with our lives. On February 4th, Q and Tume saved my life. The Malcolm X Combat Unit of the SLA was a leadership training cell under the personal command of General Field Marshal Q. General Tico was his second in command. Everything we did was directed toward our development as leaders and advisors to other units. All of us were prepared to function on our own if necessary until we connected with other combat units. The idea that we are leaderless is absurd as long as any SLA elements are alive and operating under the command of our General Field Marshal. It's hard to explain what it was like watching our comrades die, murdered by pig incendiary grenades. A battalion of pigs facing a fire team of gorillas, and the only way they could defeat them was to burn them alive. It made me mad to see the pigs looking at our comrades' weapons, to see them holding Cujo's .45 and his watch, which was still ticking. He would have laughed at that. There is no surrender. No one in that house was suicidal, just determined and full of love. It was beautiful to hear Gabi's father. He understands. Gabi loved her father, and I know that much of her strength came from the support he gave her. What a difference between the parents of Gabi and Cujo and my parents. One day, just before the last tape was made, Cujo and I were talking about the way my parents were fucking me over. He said that his parents were still his parents because they had never betrayed him. But my parents were really Malcolm X and Assata Shakur. I'll never betray my parents. The pigs probably had the little Olmec monkey that Cujo wore around his neck. He gave me the little stone face one night. I know that the pigs are proud of themselves. They've killed another black leader. In typical pig fashion, they have said that Sin Q committed suicide. What horseshit. Sin committed suicide the same way Malcolm and King and Bobby and Fred and Jonathan and
George did. But no matter how many leaders are killed, the pig can't kill their ideals. I learned a lot from Sin and the comrades who died in that fire. And I'm still learning from them. They live on in the hearts and minds of millions of people in fascist America. The pigs' actions that Friday evening showed just how scared they really are. They would have burned and bombed that entire neighborhood to murder 6 guerrillas. The SLA terrifies the pigs because it calls all oppressed people in this country to arms, to fight in a united front to overthrow this fascist dictatorship. The pigs think that they can deal with a handful of revolutionaries, but they know they can't defeat the incredible power which the people, once united, represent. It's for this reason that we get to see, live and in color, the terrorist tactics of the pigs. The pigs saying, "You're next." This kind of display, however, only serves to raise the people's consciousness and makes it easier for our comrades, sisters, and brothers throughout the country to connect. I died in that fire on 54th Street, but out of the ashes I was reborn. I know what I have to do. Our comrades didn't die in vain. The pig lies about the advisability of surrender have only made me more determined. I renounced my class privilege when Sin and Cujo gave me the name Tanya. While I have no death wish, I have never been afraid of death. For this reason, the brainwashed duress theory of the pig hearse has always amused me. Life is very precious to me, but I have no delusions that going to prison will keep me alive. And I would never choose to live the rest of my life surrounded by pigs like the hearse. I want to see our comrades in this country's concentration camps, but on our terms, as stated in our Declaration of Revolutionary War, not on the pigs' terms. Patria o muerte, venceremos. Death to the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people.